You know what? I've ignored this box for 6 months. This beautiful Darkoath box. It was supposed to be a fun project for the weekends, but it actually ended up teaching me a harsh lesson about our hobby that I didn't expect. So today, I'm going to tackle my pile of grey and share some Darkoath life lessons that might just help save your mojo and your hobby. About half a year ago, I gave myself a strict deadline. 2 boxes in 60 days. I thought, I've painted many armies and I was going to be ready. But nope, I think I made a fatal mistake. Because to test my skills, not only is it 2 boxes in 60 days, I also banned myself from using contrast paints. That was my bread and butter at one stage, and decided to batch paint many models at once as well. While I thought this would be faster, it wasn't. Like by about 4th hour, I wasn't painting an army. I was like working on a factory assembly line. Painting the same strap of leather 20 times in a row didn't make me feel like a pro, and in fact, it started to make me hate my hobby. Now if I look at a contrast paint myself, and I felt like using them just would be cheating. But here's the truth. Complexity is the enemy of execution. I eventually realized that unless you're going to enter a painting competition, done is always better than perfect, just like work and many areas in life. Boy, I wish I knew that sooner. Look, when you look at the Darkoath box art, you see beautiful fur, skin, armor, and of course I want my models to look exactly like that. I want them to be good enough so when I take pictures of them at 10 times telezoom, they'll look amazing. Don't ask me why. And that perfectionism killed my mojo. I spent 3 hours just layering the skin on models and working on one single horse. I did the math at this speed. Finishing even just 10 fell riders would take me months, not weeks. Let alone all the other marauders and wild fiend that I had to paint. The challenge was just starting to become mathematically impossible. So, I had to learn to paint for the 3-foot rule. Now if it looks good from 3 feet away, no one cares about the 3rd highlight on the leather strap or the boots. Set the expectations low. Give myself the freedom to add details because it's fun, but not because that's how I planned it months ago when I was too self-confident for no reason. So 2 weeks in, I hit a wall. With nothing to show for my work, I pretty much just walked away. I swapped my paintbrush for controller and keyboard and started to play video games instead. Yeah, it's funny now if I think about it, but it was a great idea at the time. See, at first, it felt like relief. But deep down, there was this sense of guilt building, and every time I looked at my desk and that pile of grey, that pile of shame was just staring right at me. Now, the video games weren't a break in this case, they were an avoidance tactic. Now, the longer I stayed away, the scarier the painting desk became. At times, I didn't even want to sit down because I was fearing how much time it's going to take and I was going to fail anyway, so it's much easier to blow stuff up, to kill stuff, to murder with my Archeon. So, what did I learn? I learned that motivation doesn't strike like lightning, like the lightning of Sigmar. You kind of have to create it. So I forced myself to paint just 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a session. And that small win built momentum and helped me break through the paralysis. Because that's the problem. It's funny that I knew that in life, but somehow I couldn't apply it to my hobby. So there you go. But when escaping the video games didn't really stop the guilt, I tried an even more dangerous tactic to fix my motivation. I had to try to buy my way out of it. Desperate to reignite the spark in me, I convinced myself that the problem wasn't me, it was the models. So I opened my browser and my wallet and I bought Warhammer Quest and Old World. Convinced myself that these new plastic was going to be a cure for my painter's block. Yes, laugh at me and my failure so you don't have to go through the same thing. And you know what? Funny thing was, it worked for about 5 minutes. The dopamine of clicking on that buy button and then unwrapping that box felt fantastic, as usual. The moment these boxes arrived on my desk, the high vanished. Now, instead of just finishing one of those projects at a time, I had 3. I wasn't fixing my hobby, I was compounding my guilt. I was hundreds of dollars poorer and just hoarding plastic. So what did I learn here? I learned that the hard way of you can't buy motivations. Alright? New models doesn't fix old habits and problems. And I had to enforce the 2-box rule because 1 box is too hard. It was originally 1 box, now I switched it to 2. Nothing new enters the house anymore until the current box and the next project is built and painted. 2 boxes. And there you go, that was my Darkoath Army failure experience. Hopefully that shared a few points of view. Now, I can summarize it here at the end. I started that maybe about March. Now it's December, so it's been a very long time. I tried to re-pick up again in June, totally failed. And because I lost so much motivation for my hobby, I actually haven't played a proper game of Age of Sigmar for a few months. And that's the longest I've been not playing since I started the hobby. Because it had such a big impact on my life, I hope to share this story, so if you're going through anything similar like this, maybe you can laugh at my failures, find some humor in it, and so help you get out of your rut, or just to motivate you to pick up that paintbrush and just do it. Because nothing is better than hobby pain. We don't need that. We go to the hobby to escape the pain. So, if you like this and would like to see more of this kind of content, I'm the Weekend Wargamer, and I'll see you next time.